Hi everyone, we are here to talk about proving marketing ROI with Agentforce Marketing. I have to quickly flash up the forward-looking statement slide, reminder to make your purchasing decisions based on products and services available today. And I do want to quickly say thank you for joining us. It's lunchtime. Hopefully you ate or are going to eat right after this. You're not hangry sitting in the audience. We hope to make this worth your while. Really quickly, my name is Sarah Pfefferman. I'm a product marketer here at Salesforce. I focus on the Marketing Cloud business, and I am joined by my partner, Elise.
Hi, my name's Elise Landrin, and I am a solution engineer here in the Marketing Cloud.
Awesome. Thanks, Elise. Okay, quick preview of our agenda. We already did our introductions. I'm going to quickly touch on why AI-ready data matters. We're going to talk all about from touch points to attribution. Lisa's going to walk us through a demo, and then we'll wrap with a couple key takeaways on what she showed you. So let's dive in. Marketers today, they're on the hook to deliver real business results. Leadership, they're asking harder questions than ever. They need to know what's working, what's moving the needle, where should we double down, how can I report up to this? We have budget that we're spending. We need to be able to allocate against that. And with AI in the picture, how can AI continue to unlock efficiency gains and make me do that much more with less? But here is the issue. 75% of marketers struggle unifying their data. That is because marketing data is complex. Marketing data lives in so many different tools and platforms, and it's really hard to get that one holistic view. And often by the time we get reporting back to us, it's too late to make optimizations, let alone maximize our impact or prove it out. Disconnected data, delayed reporting, and unproven ROI, they're not just frustrations at this point anymore. They're real career risks. And there has to be a better way for marketers. And that better way is Agentforce Marketing. Agentforce Marketing is built to do exactly this. It's here to help us unlock that trapped data so that we can personalize every interaction. It's here to help offload some of that manual, time-consuming work with our agency of agents so we can focus on more strategic opportunities. And finally, it's here to connect every single touch point into seamless, unified experiences. And the result, adapted customer experiences, measurable growth, and finally, that attribution story that we can start to report up to our CMO and above. And we need AI-ready data across the platform. And with Agentforce Marketing built on the Salesforce platform, it unlocks these capabilities for our marketers. So Marketing Intelligence, this is the tool that unlocks unified intelligence layer so that you can bring together your paid and your own performance into that one view for holistic marketing efforts. Data 360, this unlocks your unified customer profile so that you can do that much more strategic segmentation and targeting with your marketing efforts. Agentforce built in, this helps take action on your behalf so your marketers can focus on more strategic work. And finally, and probably what you guys are seeing all throughout today in the last 2 days conference, Tableau Agent and Tableau Next. This powers those conversational, proactive insights for every employee so that you can take action that much faster. And again, only with your AI-ready data, only with your capabilities all in one place in that one unified data story, can you start to really prove impact. And that's what attribution does. It helps take your marketing efforts and really prove out that these are really impacting business results. It credits your touch points that influence a conversion so that you can go to your CMO and help really answer and help them prove what they're doing actually matters. So attribution, not a new concept for marketers like us, right? I'm sure you all have been tracking and reporting on attribution for years. And what we've learned is not all touch points are created equal. Customers, they don't convert in one click. We do know this. I certainly don't convert in one click. So why are we still measuring it like we do? And that's what single touch attribution is. It's crediting 100% of the conversions to just one touch point, either your first or your last. And while that is an effective way to measure and get a number and be able to report on something, we know it's not the full story. And that's why today is gold standard for marketers is multi-touch attribution. And what this is it's different models crediting different touch points leading to a conversion. So a U-shape, a linear, time decay. There's so many different models you can report on. And this gives marketers the insights that they need to optimize, personalize, and then ultimately prove their ROI. And we know conversions span multiple touch points, whether a web visit, a message, an ad click, an SMS opt-in. These are all signals that marketers can use, and they can use these signals to not only personalize, but optimize every single touch point that is leading to the path to purchase. And this is what marketers are looking for. So what we're going to be demoing for you right after this slide is our built-in attribution offering on marketing intelligence. And what this does is this helps marketers really stitch together all of the touch points that lead to a conversion so that they can really start to prove their impact. This is all built on Tableau Next. So what Elise will show you, you'll be able to see. We can customize it. We can ask questions of it. But it's built in, and we're excited to show that to you. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Elise, and she is going to start our demo.
Awesome. Thanks, Sarah. All right, let's get into it. So as Sarah mentioned, what we're going to be talking through today is the native attribution function built into our marketing intelligence platform. This platform is really built for marketers, and it's an application that lives within kind of the native Salesforce structure. As you can see here, one of the dashboards that comes with marketing intelligence is the marketer homepage. And this is where, as a marketing analyst or as a marketer, I can come in and just get a view of my performance data at a glance. So I can see here that, how are my different channels, my different marketing efforts contributing to KPIs like total revenue, and how much am I actually spending on each of these channels to drive this revenue. So what I can see here is that I'm actually, I have a high amount of spend. The LinkedIn campaigns drive a lot of my spend. But when it comes to revenue contribution, it's actually Google Ads that's the highest contributor. And this isn't uncommon, right? When we think about the attribution gap, lower funnel channels like Google Ads can be over-credited with a last touch model. If we're just looking at what was the last source or ad that someone saw before making a purchase, going to a search or seeing a Google ad tends to be lower in that conversion funnel. Something like a LinkedIn ad or a Meta ad tends to be higher in the funnel and therefore can be underrepresented in a visual like this or in a measurement like this. And this trickles down into campaign performance as well, right? So here on the marketing homepage, I can easily filter for my top performing campaigns and bottom performing campaigns based on different metrics that I have. But again, this is all still based on that source-based attribution, that last click model. So when I look at something like return on investment, the way that my campaigns are going to be stacked ranked is going to overcredit those campaigns that tend to fall later in the funnel. And so this is a common challenge, right? I think as marketers, we're all kind of familiar with this gap. So how is Salesforce coming in to solve it? We have built an attribution platform right within the marketing intelligence application. And this is all built, as Sarah mentioned, on our Data 360. Data 360 is reconciling all of our different sources together and unifying that data to a single profile. So we can actually stitch together these unique user journeys and understand how to credit the different exposures to ads that they have accordingly. So let's walk through how this actually comes to life. Within the attribution section of my data management tab, I can see the different attribution models that have been created. So me and my team can come in and create different models based on the different outcomes that we're trying to achieve. But let's go through and configure our own. When I come to configure the model, it's going to be clicks, not code, right? So this is something that as a marketer and as a business user, I don't need to know SQL. I don't need to be a database expert. I can come in here and configure this model out of the box. The first thing I configure is the look back window. How far back in time do I want the model to look when it's thinking about the consumer journey? I have the option to choose 30, 60, or 90 days right now. We are planning to add longer look back windows for those longer consideration cycles later this year. So let's choose 90 days. I also choose my identity resolution rule. And again, this comes from our Data 360 platform. As you configure Data 360, one of the pieces of that is to set up these identity resolution rules that then become available for you to use when resolving these identities in marketing intelligence. And then I choose what is the model type. So you can see the different models that come, again, out of the box. Later this year, we do plan to add the ability to create a custom model where you're able to choose the weighting. But for right now, we have 2 single touch models, first touch and last touch, as well as 3 multi-touch models. Time decay, which is going to credit exposures closer to conversion higher. Linear, which is going to credit all exposures in the journey equally, and U-shape, which is going to credit exposures at the beginning and at the end of the journey highest. So maybe I want to look at all of these. Let's compare them all, right? So I can save that. And then the next piece of the configuration is to choose the engagement signals and the conversion metrics. So for engagement signals, I have all of the underlying exposure data from the Tableau semantic layer available for me to choose to add to my configuration. So what's great about this is it's not just a single channel. I can add website interactions, someone browsing a product page, someone visiting a certain part of my website. I can add email exposures, email clicks, email opens, SMS clicks and opens, as well as ad clicks. So something like Meta and Google. So now I can build these cross-channel consumer journeys to actually be able to then allocate credit for the conversion based on these different models. So let's choose all of these engagement signals. And then I also need to choose the conversion metric. Each attribution configuration needs one conversion event that we're measuring to. The cool part about this, because you can configure this multiple times, we could have an attribution model that measures to a higher funnel conversion event, like form fill on the website or initial email sign up for a newsletter, right? That could be the conversion event that we're measuring to really understand the lead journey coming to the website, as well as the entire user journey going all the way through where the conversion event is an actual purchase or revenue. So for this example, let's choose revenue as our conversion metric and click apply. So now really that's it. That's the configuration, all clicks, not code, very, very user friendly. What happens now when I click deploy is I'm going to get out-of-the-box dashboards built on Tableau Next for each of the models that I configured. So I would have a dashboard for first touch, last touch, linear, U-shaped, and time decay, as well as I want to be able to review all of those different attribution models in a single dashboard. So that's what we're going to walk through here. So again, this dashboard comes pre-configured. A couple things to call out at the top. How am I doing on time? Okay. Number one, when we think about attribution models, if you're a marketer today or a marketing analyst, you know that different ad platforms or even marketing platforms overall may provide their own attribution models, right? Meta has one, Google has one. But the problem with measuring just with Meta or just with Google is they only see the engagement signals on their own platforms. So what ends up happening is if, you're taking that data and Google says I drove 100 conversions and Facebook says, or Meta says, I drove 100 conversions, you may actually look at your conversion data and say, we only got 100 conversions. So how are both of these platforms, when we add them, it's 200 conversions? We know that didn't happen. And so that's what one of the pieces, even from a last touch perspective, Salesforce is providing this deduplicated view of marketing attribution to revenue and to conversion, where it's going to match what actually happened during that time period. We're also calculating things like time to conversion, the TTC measure. So we can see on average, how long is it taking for a user to go from their first exposure with your brand through to a conversion. So in this case, it's taking about 4 days on average for a consumer to go through that funnel. Then it starts to get really interesting, right? Now we're actually starting to compare performance by channel across the different attribution models. So that's what you can see here. And where we've seen this become so valuable is that the story can be so different depending on the model that you're using. So when we look at a last touch model for your organization, you may be used to seeing the Google and the search channel managers might be used to having that large budget, right? Because they can show very clearly how they impact revenue. But when we start to be able to measure more on a time decay or a linear or a U-shaped model, it really helps these upper funnel channels to really prove their impact. And as Sarah mentioned before, this is just more important than ever to be able to use data to prove your impact. And this is really allowing marketers to do that. And then one more piece that we want to call out is that because all of this information is existing together within marketing intelligence, we can not only report on revenue attribution, but also tie in the cost efficiency. So not just how much did revenue did that channel generate, but how much did it cost you to generate that? And doing these kind of cost efficiency metrics to say, okay, based on a last touch model, this channel was the most cost efficient. But when we change that to U-shaped, and again, bear with me on the visual or on the data here, but the visuals can really change. With a story can really change to say, actually, these upper funnel channels that we thought were very cost inefficient are actually much more efficient than we thought. And as we've talked about, all of this is built on Tableau Next, so everything is available to edit and change. This kind of out of the box helps you shorten your time to insight, helps you realize that value faster. But of course, everything is editable and be able to configure within Tableau Next. So with that, I will pass it back over to Sarah to wrap us up.
Perfect. Thank you, Elise. That was awesome. Okay, so the 3 steps I just want to call out, which are what Elise just walked us through. It's 1, configuring your multi-touch attribution. As she mentioned, every single conversion that you set up, an out-of-the-box dashboard auto-populates for you so that you can start to see that come to life. The second bit of it, once you have it set up, you can quickly start to analyze it. And again, she showed you some of the different things you can look for in the dashboards to start to really take action. And then that final piece is insights to optimization. Once you have that data in there, you can start to dig in, ask questions, and really start to really optimize and make sure that this is working for your business. I have my CTA slide as the marketer myself here. We do have a booth. It's right there in the Fuel Smarter Decisions Across Any Team section. Elise and I will both be there tomorrow. We have booth duty. Come see us. We would love to walk you through this and talk through the specifics of your business. And the other thing I want to call out, we do mention Data Cloud, Data 360 a couple times throughout our presentation. There is a session coming up at 2 p.m., so just over an hour from now, where they'll be talking about clean rooms and Tableau. I think it's going to be a good session for marketers as well. With that, we wanted to say thank you and then end on our survey slide. Elise and I, we do look at all of this data that's coming in. We use this to make our sessions that much better, and we would love to hear from you. With that, thanks everyone.
Thank you.